The most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all its contents. Howard Phillips Lovecraft was the man who opened doors to fear of things we humans don't know and comprehend. It's the fear of the unknown, the entities that might be living in the universe, but humans are simply incapable of seeing and feeling them. Lovecraft gave the concept that these ancient beings might be worshipped by a cult of humans, taking his dark imagination to a new level. With his ideas full of terror, he explained the despair, madness, and futility of human existence. This is the reason why people fall into deep melancholy, doubting existence and the presence of outer forces after reading him. He writes that the primal and constant sentiment that courses through the veins of humanity is fear, and the most ancient and potent manifestation of fear is that of the unknown. This apprehension has woven itself into the very fabric of human existence since time immemorial. The instincts and emotions of humanity shaped their reactions to the enigmatic surroundings that embraced them. For our primitive ancestors, the unknown, synonymous with the unpredictable, assumed the role of an omnipotent force bestowing blessings and calamities upon humanity. In their worldview, the ancient Greeks entrusted control of the world and their destinies to gods and goddesses. These deities were believed to hold sway over their lives, and the people, in a bid for appeasement, prayed for assistance and protection. A discontented deity, they believed, could unleash punishment upon them. As ages unfolded, the quest for understanding shifted from attributing events to divine will to seeking explanations grounded in natural principles. The ancient Greeks transitioned into the first natural philosophers, laying the foundation for what we now term scientists. Over the ages, science has illuminated numerous phenomena that were once veiled in mystery. Yet, it has also unveiled the vast expanse of the universe, reminding us of how much still remains shrouded in the unknown. The man behind these disturbing concepts was Howard Phillips Lovecraft, a famous American weird fictional writer born in 1890 who elevated the unknown to the pedestal of fear. Lovecraft's ingenuity lay in probing newborn scientific domains, where the prospect of undiscovered entities creeping amid the stars became conceivable. The infinite and profound cosmic depths evoke an overwhelming emotion that paralyzes us. A glimpse into Lovecraft's biography unveils the threads of alienation, inconsequentiality, fear, anxiety, and madness that weave through his literary work. These themes weren't merely figments of his imagination, but mirrored his experiences. Lovecraft, in his earlier years, grappled with insecurity and anxiety, plagued by frequent illnesses, some of which bore the hallmarks of psychological afflictions. At the tender age of 3, his father's collapse into madness led to institutionalization, eventually succumbing to syphilis. His mother, Sarah Susan Phillips Lovecraft, enveloped him in a cocoon of overprotection, seldom allowing him out of her sight. This made Lovecraft a sickly, introverted child who would live in a world of horrific imaginations. His maternal grandfather, Whipple Van Buren Phillips, assumed the role of a paternal figure. He introduced Lovecraft to classical literature, poetry, and weird tales, ironically aiding him in overcoming his fear of the dark. In the cosmos of Lovecraft's existence, Phillips became the fulcrum. Being a genius yet weird child, Lovecraft showed extraordinary talents, reciting poetry at 2, reading at 3, and writing at 6. His insatiable appetite for literature manifested in his private library, where he immersed himself for extended periods. The death of his grandmother, Roby, cast a profound shadow over his family, plunging them into a melancholy from which they never fully recovered. Nightmares haunted Lovecraft, where entities he termed as night gaunts haunted him. But Lovecraft writes that these entities would carry him through a surreal expanse until he plummeted into a lonely void, waking him with anguished screams. These horrific dreams later materialized in Lovecraft's literary concoctions. Following the demise of his grandfather, Lovecraft and his mother were forced to abandon their grandiose Victorian home and resettle in a more modest dwelling. Lovecraft dubbed this period as one of the most pathetic chapters in his existence, toying with the idea of self-annihilation fueled by a perceived void of purpose. Yet, his insatiable quest for enlightenment and reflection on unknown realms arrested such gloomy musings. At the tender age of 8, he delved into the realms of science, starting with the alchemy of chemistry and subsequently gazing into the cosmic expanse through the lens of astronomy. The latter significantly shaped his future writings, instilling a profound sense of the boundless cosmos and the inconsequentiality of humanity. In 1908, he succumbed to a nervous collapse during his high school years, prompting his withdrawal and a subsequent trajectory of self-guided learning. Lovecraft fostered a subtle relationship with his mother, who disparagingly labeled him as hideous and alleged his hatred of public visibility. Rumors circulated that he roamed the streets shrouded in a raincoat, veiling his face to evade prying eyes. Extended an invitation to join a cadre of amateur wordsmiths, Lovecraft discovered a refuge amidst kindred spirits. This affiliation led to extensive correspondences, making him one of the most prolific epistle artisans of the century. He penned an estimated 100 chosen messages during his life, covering his lifestyle and beliefs as hypnotizing as his fantastical tales. In 1921, Lovecraft's lady succumbed to a nervous breakdown, finding asylum in the same institution where his ancestor had breathed his last 21 years prior. Her demise ensued from complications arising from a gallbladder operation. Lovecraft plummeted into profound dismay, once again toying with the spectre of suicide. Gradually recovering, he crossed paths with Sonia Greene, his future partner, and they moved to the bustling hub of New York. Financial challenges and the nomadic nature of his wife's work led to their eventual separation. Lovecraft grappled with the colossal and alien environment of New York, feeling estranged in a city teeming with foreign elements. His personal detachment etched its imprint on the overarching ambiance of his literary canon. During his era, racism and xenophobia pervaded society, and Lovecraft found himself trapped by these divisive sentiments. It is crucial to acknowledge that he was a product of his era. In 1926, Lovecraft returned to his beloved hometown of Providence, Rhode Island, where he would dwell until his passing. Renowned for coining the phrase, "I am Providence," he grappled with financial struggles. Yet, many of his significant works found their way into affordable pulp magazines, although a substantial number remained relatively unknown. As Lovecraft's health declined, he faced excruciating pain that left him physically unable to hold a pen. Seeking medical counsel, he learned that cancer had spread to his intestine. Despite enduring constant agony, he succumbed to death in 1937, perhaps entertaining the belief that his literary legacy would fade into obscurity. Lovecraft's tumultuous life could have taken a different path, but rather than succumbing to the hardships, they fueled his determination to persist in writing. Fortunately, his friends recognized the value in his work and were devoted to preserving it. Today, he stands as one of the greatest weird fiction writers in history. Lovecraft's writings deviate from conventional character development, focusing more on the phenomena surrounding characters and their emotional responses to the unknown, the entities humans cannot see, feel, and comprehend. The desolation prevails in his stories, offering a unique perspective, and few writers have captured it with such poignant intensity. Lovecraft's writings possess the ability to unsettle readers profoundly, departing from traditional horror characters like vampires and ghosts. He shifted the source of dread to the vast and uncharted abysses beyond space and time. From an early age, Lovecraft cultivated the notion of humanity's cosmic insignificance through his astronomy studies. The universe, juxtaposed with the infinitesimally small Earth and humanity's existence, is so expansive that, from a cosmic viewpoint, human history, knowledge, and religion are utterly inconsequential and devoid of meaning. Lovecraft accentuates the fear of the unknown and unknowable, invoking fear when confronted by phenomena beyond human comprehension. extending beyond the narrow scope of human affairs. His philosophy, known as Cosmicism, revolves around the insignificance of humanity and its endeavors in the vast cosmos, challenging anthropocentric philosophies that offer intellectual solace to many. This form of non-anthropocentrism is integral to the Cosmicism philosophy, asserting that the question of the meaning of life is best left unanswered. Cosmicism aligns with extreme existentialism, introducing uncertainty about humanity's role in the indifferent universe, a grand existential crisis. Lovecraft embraces the harsh reality that, while things may hold significance on a human scale, we are inconsequential in the vastness of the cosmos. He portrays humanity as the miserable inhabitants of a tiny speck in a microscopic universe, akin to ants in the vast expanses of space and time. This incomprehensibly large universe instills fear of the cosmic void. This delivers a substantial blow to humanity's self-confidence, revealing that, after millennia in darkness, illuminating the light unveils the presence of others, sharing our cosmic abode. He believed that there exists a point beyond which our minds cannot grapple with scientific revelations. In his words, "The most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all its contents. We live on a placid island of ignorance in the midst of black seas of infinity, and it was not meant that we should voyage far. The sciences, each straining in its own direction, have hitherto harmed us little, but someday the piecing together of dissociated knowledge will open up such terrifying vistas of reality and of our frightful position therein, that we shall either go mad from the revelation or flee from the deadly light into the peace and safety of a new dark age." In Lovecraft's literature, scientific discovery is both enthralling and terrifying. He perceives it not as a potential enlightener of humanity, but as the ultimate annihilator of our species. In his view, knowledge is a self-annihilating disease. The contemplation of humanity's existence in the vast, lonely, and cold universe revealed by modern science gives rise to the discovery of incomprehensible entities that dodge our mortal understanding. In one of Lovecraft's personal favorites, The Color Out of Space, a meteorite with an indescribable color crashes on a farm. The term color is used metaphorically, as the thing defies conventional description. As extraterrestrial entities enter our world, their external qualities remain to such a degree that humans cannot perceive or comprehend them. This cosmic disorder, manifested in an unprecedented color from outer space, disrupts human perception and defies scientific explanation. Lovecraft writes that an unknown force poisons every living thing, leading to insanity or death. Lovecraft aimed to instill cosmic horror through devices that felt entirely foreign and unknown to the reader, crafting an unfamiliar and uncomfortable atmosphere, an ambitious goal. Nevertheless, cosmicism in Lovecraft's stories extends beyond the fear of cosmic depths. Unknown forces also lurk in the depths of the earth, oceans, distant territories, and the vast recesses of the dreamlands. Lovecraft writes about this supernatural world through what is now known as the Cthulhu Mythos, a term he did not coin himself. This word is intentionally non-human, and there is no correct pronunciation. Lovecraft suggested the closest pronunciation is Cthulhu. Unlike most horrific creatures, these entities do not seek our destruction. Instead, they appear utterly indifferent to humanity, their relationship with us a mere coincidence. This coincidental alignment places these gods on par with other cosmic forces, contributing to the sense of alienation by ignoring humans. They symbolize the vastness of the cosmos, a fraction of which we can barely understand. The horror stems from realizing that common human laws, interests, and emotions hold no power or significance in the expansive cosmos at large. In Lovecraft's world, the entities are not inherently evil. They transcend human conceptions of morality, existing in a dark reality where nothing is impossible and beyond human reach. They display the essence of externality, as he puts it. To achieve the essence of real externality, whether of time or space or dimension, one must forget that such things as organic life, good and evil, love and hate, and all such local attributes of a negligible and temporary race called mankind, have any existence at all. The Cthulhu Mythos is intentionally an incomplete body of mythology rather than a comprehensive system of knowledge. Lovecraft mentions various types of entities: elder things, great old ones, deep ones, and outer gods. The true horror lies in the mere knowledge that these entities exist and have come from the stars long before human civilization. The elder things, the first alien species to colonize Earth 1 billion years ago, created Shoggoths, protoplasmic shape-shifting beings capable of reflecting all forms and organs. These served as slaves to build vast cities but rebelled against their masters. The ruins of these great cities remain frozen in Antarctica, with some entities found as fossils or in frozen hibernation. In his work, At the Mountains of Madness, explorers encounter the Shoggoths in Antarctica, described as a terrible, indescribable conglomeration of protoplasmic bubbles with myriads of temporary eyes. Lovecraft writes that the Great Old Ones, immortal beings and former rulers and gods over Earth, now reside eternally in various locations around the Earth. Cthulhu, a high priest and great dreamer, lies in a deep slumber beneath the ocean. With a monster-like anthropoid outline and an octopus-like head, Cthulhu is an embodiment of the alien to humans on Earth. The indescribable nature of Cthulhu is captured in phrases like, "A mountain walked or stumbled." Cthulhu, residing in the underwater city of R'lyeh, embodies the chthonic, inhabiting the underworld within the unknown and the unconscious. He is simultaneously sleeping and eternal, waking and dreaming, dead and alive, as expressed in the mysterious line, "That is not dead which can eternal lie." And with strange aeons, even death may die. Cthulhu's immense existence transcends human thought. Even the concept of death loses meaning in its eternal form. Although the Great Old Ones are no longer living, they communicate with humans through the dreamlands of the collective unconscious while in their eternal slumber. Cthulhu induces perpetual anxiety in the collective unconscious of humanity. Globally, the Cthulhu cult venerates the Great Old Ones, intoning, "In his house at R'lyeh, dead Cthulhu waits dreaming." When the stars align, the submerged city will ascend, aided by the eternal Cthulhu cult, awakening the Great Old Ones to reclaim their former dominion. Unbeknownst to the cult, their prayers lead to their own demise, as these entities transcend notions of good and evil. Any semblance of malevolence is a mere human interpretation, seeking to explain the inexplicable. In The Call of Cthulhu, the protagonist, initially consumed by curiosity, embarks on a journey to uncover mysterious findings, but is horrified upon discovering the truth about the existence of the Great Old Ones when he says, "I shall never sleep calmly again when I think of the horrors that lurk ceaselessly behind life in time and in space." Lovecraft introduces the Deep Ones in The Shadow over Innsmouth, an ocean-dwelling amphibious humanoid race with strong ties to Cthulhu and an inclination for mating with humans. They worship Dagon, the most potent of the Deep Ones. Surpassing all entities in power are the outer gods, cosmic beings situated beyond Earth's confines. Famous ones include Yog-Sothoth, Shub-Niggurath, Nyarlathotep, and Azathoth, dwelling in the outer voids beyond thought and existence, beyond the ultimate gate that leads fearsomely and perilously to the last void, which is outside all Earths, all universes, and all matter. The ultimate gate can only be unlocked with the Silver Key, an ancient artifact opening the gate of space and time, providing access to remote places in the universe, and all potential lives one may live or have lived. Guarded by Yog-Sothoth, for whom time and space have no boundaries, the gate is described as Yog-Sothoth knows the gate. Yog-Sothoth is the gate. Yog-Sothoth is the key and guardian of the gate. Past, present, future, all are one in Yog-Sothoth. Yog-Sothoth possesses knowledge of everything and guards it, with worshippers seeking the key to forbidden knowledge that inevitably leads to madness, opening doors to uncharted realms. In Lovecraft's narratives, fictional gods assume a secondary role, never the central focus or primary catalyst of unfolding events. Nevertheless, their persistent presence remains a pivotal element of cosmic horror. Lovecraft uses mathematical concepts and surreal explanations that defy conventional existence to convey the unknown. He defines the geometry of the dream place as abnormal, non-Euclidean, and loathsomely redolent of spheres and dimensions apart from ours. That's a masterful description that is beyond human understanding. Lovecraft's recurrent use of abnormal geometries to evoke the fear of the unknown is evident in stories like "He was swallowed up by an angle of masonry which shouldn't have been there, an angle which was acute but behaved as if it were obtuse." Lovecraft's vivid descriptions imply an intuitive understanding of how glimpses of the fourth dimension might appear to us. The abnormal geometries and abominations like Cthulhu align with the notion of fourth-dimensional creatures coexisting in our space beyond conventional matter. It's comparable to an ant in a two-dimensional world encountering a human being. The perception would be incomprehensible, with our hand appearing as strange, bony and fleshy meat with warm, pulsing liquid, seemingly materializing and disappearing out of sight. Similarly, Lovecraft's cosmic entities and objects exist in dimensions beyond our own. In his encounters, Gilman perceives organic entities as groups of bubbles, octopi, centipedes, living Hindu idols, and intricate arabesques animated in an Ophidian manner, all unspeakably menacing and horrifying. The movements of these entities, much like his own, elude comprehension. Over time, he observed an additional mystery: the inclination of certain entities to manifest suddenly from empty space or disappear entirely with equal abruptness. Lovecraft's universe defies visualization, and we can only hint at their descriptions with our limited knowledge, heightening the eerie nature of the unknown. Lovecraft writes that if we were to be tormented by these creatures, we would be utterly powerless to resist. Their presence eludes our perception unless they choose to enter our three-dimensional world. They scrutinize our every move while remaining unseen to us, rendering us entirely at their mercy. At any given moment, one of these cosmic entities could infiltrate our dimension, promptly end our existence, and vanish without a trace. Witnessing what is meant to remain unseen, transforming it into a new reality, induces genuine cosmic horror, disorientation, and anxiety. Lovecraft's stories are so surreal that the average reader is stripped of all preconceptions about reality and even their sense of self. In these narratives, characters who fear the loss of their individuality and strive to preserve it are the ones who succumb to madness. Incorporating the concept of otherness and recognizing the significance of being different carries considerable weight. It necessitates the simultaneous acceptance of both the self and the other. In the tale Through the Gate of the Silver Key, the protagonist Randolph Carter wields the enigmatic silver key, unlocking the ultimate gate. There he glimpses his past and future selves, observing Carters spanning every known and suspected age of Earth's history. Each Carter is acknowledged as equally himself, realizing that each minor decision shapes their distinct timelines. This awareness leads to a dissolution of individuality, recognizing that one is no longer a distinct being set apart from others. Consequently, the other becomes just as deserving of acceptance and consideration as oneself. Gilles Deleuze, the French philosopher, characterizes this transformation as a shift from paranoia to schizo-madness. These concepts serve as philosophical metaphors, illustrating perceptions of identity. Paranoia is characterized by an inclination to align everything with one's identity, dismissing otherness. In contrast, schizo-madness involves integrating the unconscious, embracing other identities, and acknowledging one's simultaneous place among them. Through Lovecraft's works, readers undergo their own anti-human transformation. The revelation of the monster as none other than oneself unfolds when delving into otherness. The true horror lies in the challenge to change, the only monster meant to be conquered.